Today on the channel, our Jakks Classic Superstars deep dive continues with some off the beaten path classic superstars. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for our weekly deep dive into the Jakks Classic Superstars series. For over a year and a half now, we've been diving in and going set by set, line by line in the Classic Superstars, and we're almost done. We're at the tail end of the Classic Superstars deep dive videos. As you guys know, we've done the single carded, the tag teams, the 3-packs. We've done a lot of different exclusives. We've done some of the role-playing cosplay stuff. Today, we are talking about a few kind of off the beaten path exclusives. And do they count as classic superstars? That is one of the key, and we've done, I think, one of these in the past, but we're doing one again with quasi-classic superstars. I count them, but we'll see where you guys sit. But if you've missed any of these videos, like I said, go back. There's a playlist on my channel. You, too, can be a Jakks Classic Superstars expert, and we got a long ways to go still, as we got all the deluxe classics to do. And I think once we're done with all those, we should do some top 5s, top 10 lists, some thought-provoking stuff of who was missed out on, who they should have had. I think there's maybe a month worth of videos we can do with that, and then we're going to wrap up the Classic Superstars series, and we'll look towards our next adventure in the wrestling action figure game. So stay tuned for all that, and the best way to stay tuned for all that is following me on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel here. You're on it right now. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, all that fun stuff everybody else tells you to do. But today we're diving in to some classic superstars that some people would say maybe aren't classic superstars. And let's kick it off right away with 2004 GameStop exclusive Andre the Giant. So I got one here, bagged of course, never opened. Got him here in the bag, looking all foggy. Old school bags, you guys know how these are. They were kind of thicker and you could kind of see right through it. But old 2004 Andre the Giant, Jakks Pacific. This was a GameStop exclusive, and you got this figure if you pre-ordered Raw vs. SmackDown 2004. Possibly the last wrestling game I played religiously was Raw vs. SmackDown 2004. A lot of my college buddies and I, we were all in. We were playing a lot of matches, a lot of Royal Rumbles, stuff like that. We were loving it. We were living the dream back then. Not as many worries as we have in this day and age, of course. But you could pre-order that game and get this. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know why. Maybe I didn't know about the promotion. I can't remember back that far. I don't think I had a GameStop near me in that time, so that's probably why I didn't know about this. This was during the infancy of the Jakks Classic Superstars, and when you see this Andre the Giant, you know immediately, hey, this is Andre the Giant, Jakks Classic Superstars Series 1, which we did already talk about on the channel. Go back, check that video out, but it's the exact same figure. Does not have the title belt with it, however. And as we also know, this is Andre the Giant. Basically, it's Big Show with a different head on, too, as we saw this Big Show in the R3 era, getting the most out of your molds once again, but crazily enough, there's a lot of hate for this figure, and I'm included in that. I think this is a horrible figure. I don't like R3s to begin with, but the double strap Andre doesn't make any sense, as you guys are fully aware. So that does really take this one down the line. But some people say this is not a Jakks Classic Superstars technically, because it was not promoted that way. This is obviously a Jakks Classic Superstar. I think there's no doubt in anybody's mind on this one. But this being the exact same figure, shouldn't it be a Jakks Classic Superstar? In my head, I'm going to say yes, very loosely count, but I'm going to count it. You guys in the comments, let me know, are you going to count this one? Even though it's not in the packaging, but it is the same figure. To me, I feel like it has to count. So that's where I sit on this one. As you guys know, I sit right here, of course. But where do you sit? Do you agree with that? Let me know. And I would love to know if any of you guys got this back in 2004. Did you pre-order at GameStop so you could get this Andre? Was this Andre that big of a selling point at the time? I guess you got to take that big old step back, like 17 years. There wasn't a lot of Andre the Giant figures. Classic Superstars was new, so getting an Andre figure in that time frame was a very big deal. So I could see that as a selling point that GameStop used to their advantage. But not the best Andre. A beautiful head sculpt. Always liked the head sculpt on this, but the body, the execution, not for me. And the bag exclusives was always a weird deal, going all the way back to the Bone Crunchers. And I guess even before that, the Hasbros. The old red Hogan Hasbro, the Bret Hart, the Undertaker, coming in bags. I would have rather had them on card, and I'm sure most of us would agree on that. But Andre, an interesting one. You guys tell me in the comments, where do you sit on this? Is he a classic superstar? I'm going to say yes, but barely. But you tell me what you think about it. Now we turn our attention to another one that it could be argued is not or is a classic superstar, and that's Ric Flair. All right, next up is a bit of a grail wrestling figure of sorts. This one has gotten extremely hard to get over the last few years and has skyrocketed in price. And a lot of people say this is technically should be counted as a classic superstar. I'm not so sure. Who am I talking about? We're talking about the Ringside Collectibles Ric Flair Exclusive. Yes, Ringside, as we all know, many exclusives over many of a year. Ric Flair, no stranger to exclusive figures over the years either, but this one came out in 2004, the same year as Classic Superstars #1, so that's something that kind of ties it to a classic superstar. Ric Flair, classic superstar. He is a classic superstar. We'd all agree on that. Now, this is in Ruthless Aggression style packaging from one of the earlier Ruthless Aggression sets. Very akin to that, with some tweaks and some differences, of course. So that is one thing that hurts it from being classic superstar. It's not in the classic superstars packaging. But Ric Flair, he was getting figures in the Ruthless Aggression era as an older version of Ric Flair. But then it comes back to the classic superstars, as this is a classic version of Ric Flair in arguably his most famous robe of all time. Very arguably, but a lot of people would say this is the most famous Ric Flair robe of all time. It's a younger Flair. It just makes sense that maybe this is a classic superstar. And so with it being a younger classic Flair coming out the same year as classic superstars, to me, it just barely meets my criteria as a classic superstars figure. But that being said, if you're going to say you're a classic superstars completist, I can see how you can very easily leave this off of your list. You guys, once again, just like the Andre, tell me in the comments how you feel about this one. Is it a classic superstar? And I guess another thing that lends it to being a classic superstar is it is very similar to Ric Flair #1 with a different robe, different trunks, I believe, as well. But Ric Flair Classic Superstars, what was that, Series 2? I can't remember off the top of my head. Series 2. We covered it on the channel. You guys know that. But we knew we got a Ric Flair, and so it's the same Ric Flair that we got before. So a lot of things, a lot of reuse here. It's, I don't know why, but I'm going to call it, I'm going to say it is a classic superstar, but once again, just barely. Now, I got this, I don't know, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, what is time anymore? And the reason I got this was I felt like I needed to have it as part of the classics, and I love Ric Flair, and I love exclusives, all that kind of stuff. I don't know why I passed on this at the time, but for whatever reason I did. It does say limited edition internet exclusive on it, which is funny. They didn't use Ringside. They didn't have a sticker. They didn't have any of that kind of stuff. But it says limited, and you got that WWE logo up top. Very similar to the Classic Superstars logo, though, if you really look at it. So there's another thing that kind of ties it together. And the funny thing is, as you can see, this has been autographed by Ric Flair. So that is a cool little thing. That, guess what? I didn't know when I bought this that it was autographed. This was from some collector guy. I mean, it was a long time ago. But he was just selling a bunch of stuff, and I got this on eBay, I want to say for like $45 plus shipping, which 5 years ago was a pretty good price on this. I think this is probably worth well over $100 at this point. But it was cool to get the Flair autograph, which he didn't even tell me about. So that was interesting. And I don't think I got this off eBay. I think I got it off a Facebook group or somewhere. But I know because if it was on eBay, I would have saw it and I would have said, oh, it's autographed. But this wasn't. It was like, I don't know, one of those weird purchases you do every once in a while. And that's what it was. But there it is, big bubble on Flair going on, beautiful glamour shot. Just an all-around beautiful figure. A very underrated and a figure that a lot of people don't even know exists after all these years, as it has been 17 years. Now we're going to get to the back of the package, and the back of the package is another reason that it makes me feel like this is a Classic Superstars figure. As you can see right there on the back, what are they promoting? Classic Superstars Series 1. Of course, title belts, rings, all that other fun stuff they always do. But that's another thing that ties this to the Jakks Classic Superstars to me is the background. They're showing 2004. They're showing the Classic Superstars. I get it. It could go both ways. But just like the Andre, I'm leaning just a little bit that it is a part of Classic Superstars. There it is. I don't think there's any blurb. There's nothing going on back here. There's only the old phrase, don't be a punk, get them all. Of course, don't be a punk, get them all. And that's why I had to get this. That was another one of the reasons. But you guys, I'm going to be interested to hear what you guys say about this. Obviously, we all agree, a fantastic piece. A fantastic Ric Flair. Absolutely love it. And of course, Andre the Giant, not that fantastic of a piece. I think if anybody had to choose between these three figures, you're taking Flair all day. I know I am. But to me, they both are classic superstars. Where do you guys sit? What do you think? Do you agree with both of them? Do you say neither of them are? Is one or the other? Nobody's really wrong. It's all up to your own interpretation. So I'd love to hear your guys' interpretation of these figures. So there it is. Another Classic Superstars video under our belt. The final Classic Superstars video of 2021. I'll see you guys in 2022, as I believe it's about time to kick off the deluxe Classic Superstar Toys R Us exclusive lines. We'll start working our way through those. We still got a lot of exclusives to do and a few miscellaneouses as well. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the old notification bell. So there it is for Ric Flair, Andre the Giant. I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.